the majority of the laning phase and hopefully provide some impact in those early game fights.
Certainly what we're hoping for, right? We want that Xin to really be explosive and really showcase, okay, this is the reason why I found myself in this position. But ultimately, we're going to try and find out. I mean, we're coining it a power struggle. We have no idea what the team is functioning like between Chirp, Nox, and Thomasina. But when we see free carries, we think, well, you can't all carry at a pro level, unfortunately. Somebody has to budge and conform it to what the meta is. And I think Foreign is very much at ease with that understanding, right? Look, I'll play the Zen, I'll play the Jarvan, whatever it may be. Get me in the, in the action. I have enough trust and faith in the rest of my team, to put in the hard yards. So this is always going to be an exciting factor for us to watch as Fury go on throughout the weeks. But I guess we're putting a massive scope on their bot lane in particular. Running it back with the Aphelios once again. Different matchup, despite it still being the Lucian. Can we make sure that the first 10 minutes are a lot more successful?
I mean, that's really all it is, right? Can you outplay that first dive? Can you have your jungler there to match if that is the case, and so he's not being forced off waves? Because that was the main thing as well, right? It wasn't just that he was dying. He was missing a lot of XP. He was missing a lot of CS, and that just compounded how far down he was in gold. But here we go, Skimmy. Have Fury learned from their mistakes? Can they equalize, or will they go down 2-0 in game 2?
That is a big question here as we do load into the rift finally. Thank you so much for bearing with us. We love our pauses, but we also love talking about League itself. So the entertainment begins once again. It's Ion with the series currently 1-0 in their favor. Is it best of 2? So it's a case of, can you get all 3 points with the win? Or will those points be shared at 1 apiece? That is what we're fighting for. Both teams still on the same sides. And a chance this time to see, will anything occur at level 1?
Doesn't look like it, Skimmy. It looks like their teams are very content just having stable level 1s here. I think both teams scale in their own right. I think that the side of Fury have a very nice 5v5 composition with that Orianna Jarvan plus the K'Sante coming in. Whereas I think if you're Ion, you're very happy playing a sort of 1-3-1 style. Sorry, Fury rather. The sides have messed me around a little bit in the graphic there, but if you are this Camille, you are very happy to be able to play in that side lane. Orianna is a very diveable target for you in those long extended lanes. So if you can get to that point, feeling quite good as Thomasino.
Yeah, absolutely, right? You want to make sure that you've got lanes to play towards and the ability to try and split push and be a menace like Jovi certainly was last game, but it does take time. And you mentioned already, right, without the Sundara being available, the sustain, the trading patterns aren't going to be as easy as they once were. Obviously, you still got the Trinity Force available for that Spellblade proc. But it's not going to be as easy as it would have been. I mean, speaking as a top laner yourself, was this matchup into K'Sante ever much of a concern anyway?
Look, I think it's one that you're quite happy playing into as Camille, honestly. I think there are some rough points in the lane. He does have a nicer early game, especially once he is getting some spikes coming through. But depending on what he builds now, right, you can't go the Iceborne Gauntlet. That's no longer really a thing that you go on K'Sante. So a traditional tank build might not have that same pressure applied to the Camille.
Speaking of pressure, look at bot lane here. Already Hooper down to 50%. It almost feels mirrored from game 1 where one trade goes awry, contesting a minion in that wave, and Nebula on a champion that has the mobility and has the burst damage complemented by an enchanter doesn't miss those opportunities to pounce.
Yeah, but this is nice from Nox here, right? He's acknowledged that he has to skip the Krugs here. He has to be around this bot side because it's really this cannon wave that you're worried about if you are the side of Fury, right? You do have that 3-wave crash potentially coming in, but he's going to be here to ward off any hope of that as Foreigner takes a path, but he will be spotted by Nox here. There's a red buff on the Xin Zhao.
Nox, I was wondering if for a second he revealed himself, but he has certainly now looking to try and dash across the safety of his own blue buff. Just the mere presence of Foreigner alone was too much for him to bear, so he's walked away back to the walls, even further back, wrapping around into mid lane. There's action to be found there as both of these mid laners find themselves at 50%. It's going to be a mad rush to see which jungler gets something done first. Folder's already stolen away the blue buff. Nox is stuck understanding, well, do I go for something? Do I not? And Chirp is down low.
Yeah, it was a bit cheeky there from Nox. I think he wanted to kind of wrap around and use the time that Ion were taking the blue buff to find a play mid, but unfortunately with the terrain changes, he does end up getting spotted here as Chirp's taking a trade. I'm not sure you want that.
Oh, one auto to get it done, and Jovi! Would you believe it? What a first blow. What a way to really announce yourself in the LCO.
And he's going to get out too. Foreign is here to bodyguard him as he gets this wave in. Chirp just getting a bit too overconfident, and Jovi...
He's waiting as much as he can right now. Out goes the Protect to make sure that Foreigner has the shield, the mitigation amongst his own toolkit. But Nox wants to dive. Oh, what was that? The flash afterwards, and Nox, I don't think he can quite believe how he's managed that one. Thomasino in with the hook shot and says hello, and just like that, Fury have turned this game on its head.
I mean, what is happening, Skimmy? Where do we really start? At the same time that play's happening mid, there's a kill happening bot lane, and somehow Tomasino's here. But it all starts with Fury getting aggressive, Chirp biting off a little bit more than he can chew and going down in that 1-for-1 situation. But Fury managed to turn the wave, and now it's their time to crash a massive wave. As we take a look at this bot play again here, so it starts off with Nebula dashing in, looking very confident here. And that's it there. The perfect route there from Hooper to get him under the turret as second that Ignite comes out. And this matchup already going way better than it previously was.
Yeah, really nicely done there, right, with the Gravitum, the flash away, the sort of over-exerted pressure, as well as the Summoner Heal from Toppy, just to try and give him that little bit extra sustain too. But I suppose, I mean, is it unfair to say it's greedy there for Jovi to die in that situation? Obviously, you can TP back very early days, but both junglers get amongst it, and Nox is probably thinking, yeah, how have I managed to get the kill into Jarvan?
Yeah, and already Jovi is saying that wasn't enough aggression. He really needs to show some more. Already this matchup is becoming very favored in the side of Orianna. And Foreign has found Hooper. He has no flash.
Look how annoying this bush is, by the way, because you just get zoned away from your turret. You can't even walk back to the lane. So much easier now for the blue side to do stuff like that. And Nebula walks in, says good night to Zin. Foreign finds himself a kill as well. And they're saying, look, you thought that bot lane was going better. We're going to remind you how game one went.
It's the timing, Skimmy. They have 3 people there from the side of Fury, but they're just disjointed. They're not able to get there at the same time. That means Hooper's able to get engaged on, and there's no Toppy there to respond. And then suddenly 2 kills in what was a very winning early game for Fury.
It really isn't the ideal circumstance, but a fantastic read then from Ion to understand that, look, we can go to this bottom lane, catch them on that moment back, and deny them all these resources. Now down 10 CS, not to mention all the amount of XP too. But Nox is on the hunt, looking to try and go for it. There is the shuffle back, 1 turret attack, a shockwave that never truly went off. But then up to top lane as well, and Doraemon right now making sure that Tomasino is going to get dragged back, is going to get ulted, is forced to flash away.
Very nice there from Doraemon. He was a bit down in CS here, but forcing that flash out from Tomasino, who has no TP, going to be able to get control of this wave as he pushes in the next one. And this is the thing with the Camille versus K'Sante matchup, right? The second you do misstep, it is very dangerous. Because K'Sante has that 6, he can run you down. But going back to that previous play on mid lane, Jovi once again just getting a bit too overconfident, overextending versus Nazir without flash. Yes, you're winning the lane, but it doesn't matter if you're going to be giving up these free kills.
It's almost a fairly exciting matchup amid, just for the purpose that, you know, Jovi is playing very much like Chirp did last season, right? Where they're both just going into every single bit of pressure at the cost of saying, well, I am going to die if I get ganked, but if I don't, then this is just a free winning matchup. Chirp's clearly understood this and said, hey, he's got similar tendencies to me. We have a champion that can be that much better at ganking. Nox, please just come mid. We're guaranteed to get in this time.
And already a lot more proactivity from the side of Nox, which is something that I really like to see out of him. You know, in solo queue, he is a jungler who is notoriously aggressive on carry picks. Obviously, Xin Zhao, not a traditional carry in that sense, but certainly with this new Bruiser build can do a lot of damage early on. Playing with Chirp, playing against this flashless Orianna, and hoping to snowball even more around this mid lane.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you saw that the timing wasn't really ideal there for Fury to go for those Void Grubs, so all 3 picked up there by Ion. Jovi the one there to assist him, but now in trouble as he returns back to mid lane. The Audacious Charge being ramped up and ready to go. The final knock up, the shockwave back into range. And well, Jovi says, don't gank me. What are you doing?
And the key thing there is there's no Emperor's Divide for the Azir, right? You saw Chirp shuffling in. Jovi's flash was about 5 seconds left at the point that he did that. If they did have the Azir ultimate, he would have been able to shuffle them back, but unfortunately not. And then Jovi, it feels like a real back and forth about this mid lane. As top lane trading once again, no ults on this side either. All around the map, Skimmy, everyone is trading.
It is pressure, but it's pressure that is starting to favor Ion once again. They find a bit of an inch in a game and suddenly just start to really run away with it. I mean, it's quite remarkable to see how comprehensive they are with their understanding that, hey, we've got this trade winning, so we can go for this objective, and there's nothing that our opposition can do. So they get the Void Grubs, they'll take the first dragon. Bear in mind that last game, Ion got all 4 in a row, and were able to pick up the soul point too.
And this is nice to see from Ion, right? They're stabilizing, they're realizing that their win condition, I guess at least for the early game, is to play around their bot lane and use that pressure to get these early objectives. Nox will be spotted out. Jovi's
in a spot above her right now as he looks to try and just get a range of that turret. The Emperor's Divide was used to try and make sure that things would work in Fury's favor, but he's gone. He's running. Nox is here, but nothing's going to happen. Top lane, no. Everything's happening as Thomasina will die. Look how low Doraemon was. I have to say, at least 10, 20 HP max. That was far too close. But the action continues bot lane. A flash away from the flag and drag the Cataclysm there, but not willing to be used as they'll just push in that wave.
Doraemon's still here. I wonder if he's able to get out. He doesn't have the TP available as bot lane's going again.
There is the two-man slam dunk down, but they haven't found the kill. For a living just for the meantime. He's still alive, Max. 100 HP to his name, and Toppy without a carry, without a support, without really anything, is going to make it 2 easy kills for Nebula to pick up.
It's a disaster, Skimmy. It was looking like Fury had turned it around from last game, but then suddenly it's the exact same play that we saw last game as trading Jovi in the mid lane.
There's no chance to rest. There is no reprieve. We are just going for fight after flash to dash away from that distance, which certainly would have been enough there for Jovi to find his third of the game.
Here we go, Skimmy, taking a look at the dive again here. Crucially, Jarvan is here again and is unmatched. Gets both in the Cataclysm, and the Lucian damage is more than enough to take them down. And the wave, Skimmy, it's already 2 plays down. He's already 20 CS down. To lose this wave on top of a double kill going over to the Lucian, it's the exact same thing we wanted to avoid from game 1.
Yeah, it really is one of those deja vu moments in the bot lane. It feels really rough now here for Hooper to figure out, okay, how do we get ourselves back into this one? Because we're down so much CS, we've been denied XP. And then I'm going to find myself down an item and a half too. So it's not really that ideal. You can have a look at the overall breakdown of items, and you're sitting just above the enemy support. Certainly not a place any carrier wants to find himself.
Yeah, I mean, how do you play this lane, right? You're playing against Stormrazor, Courteous Shard with a Noon Quiver, right? It's not even comparable. You're not even in the same stratosphere of damage that this Lucian's able to dish out. We saw it there. His whole health bar basically going in a single trade. So if you're the side of Fury here, you really have to bunker down and try not to give up any more of those misnumbered dives. The best you can do really is hope for a 3v3. Even then, it's not looking very good as Nebula.
Oh! Any chance, anything to try and bait Nox into an engage opportunity, but I feel like this is the one where you say Nox goes in, but Hooper will die as part of the process. Surely the bot lane of Ion would just go out swinging if they are to get ganked by multiple members, but there's just nothing left for them to try and take on the map right now. It's desperation, it may be said. As Doraemon is going to try and keep Thomasino humble underneath his own turret. He goes to the flash, and one more auto do it. He's lost vision. He's not got the drag back, and Thomasino, even in the S key there, relegating himself to a sure death.
Very nice there from Doraemon. He's been really impressing me on this Cassante, right? Didn't really get to show his mechanics on the Gragas as much. But here, just solo killing Thomasino in this matchup, and this is the breakpoint we talked about, right? That Iceborne Gauntlet coming through for the side of this Cassante. He actually does a lot of damage when he goes to that ultimate form, and Thomasino being caught off guard. You can't have your carry being this far behind.
Well, look at that, Max. I mean, you talk about situations for Fury to get back into this one, but Iron have got all 6 of those Void Grub stacks to themselves. That means they have so much pressure now for shoving out these waves, which they've been doing all game long anyway. So it's a bit of a situation where you say, okay, already we're talking about how do Fury get back into this one. They're going to look to try and take out Jovi. Oh, no! Oh. The Empress Divider's missed, and that's so crucial for trying to start things up. Now Nox is overextended. He'll flash away, but it's easy work for Foreigner to say, there's the 2-man Cataclysm, there's the Shockwave, and there is the icing on the cake. Everybody dies.
I mean, it's just a pure masterclass mechanically here from Ion. There's Jovi dodging the Azir ultimate, and then Foreigner coming in, holding the ultimate until the flash is committed from Nox, and then it's a Jarvan Orianna combo, and he's not done, Skimmy. He's back towards this bot lane.
On vision, it does not matter. I do not think this will deter Foreigner whatsoever. What happened to Hooper? He just got deleted. Same can be said of his bot lane partner. And it is another double kill, and it is now Nebula halfway to 10 kills. He's got 5.
Someone turn this off. We can't be watching this. I mean, all across the board, it is just a slaughter from Ion. It feels like everywhere Foreigner goes, he finds a kill, he finds a pick. Even in this top lane, with his Trinity Force coming on, he's 2 levels down compared to Doraemon. I don't know where it went wrong, Skimmy, but it went very, very wrong.
It really has gone fairly pear-shaped, to put it lightly here. Item spikes, XP differences, map control, gold leads, objectives. I mean, really, you can name everything, and it is all leading the way towards Ion. I don't want to say cast a curse, but it is very much primed and ready to be a clean 2-0 right now for Ion, unless Jovi can try and dodge the impossible, which is a 3-way collapse. A simple flash is enough to bait them all in, and he'll take one to the grave with him.
That's big though, Skimmy. Yes, it is a 1-for-1, but luckily you're getting some gold back onto your Camille, right? That's really the person you need to get ahead as Nebula is getting CC'd here.
Locked in a polymorph right now, but Fauna flashing across that dragon pit there to act as that protector. Says Nebula, you will not be dying today. Yes, the dragon will reset, it will lose its aggro, it will regen a little bit of HP, but do you really think they care when they hit tab and see they got an 0-4 Philios to go into?
Yeah, that's what it is, Skimmy. It's just a gold gap at this point. I mean, what can you really do as Hooper? You find the opportunity as Doraemon might have found Tomasino here.
Isolated across that wall. Massive wall. Where do you go as Tomasino right now? You've got no flash. The Hextech Ultimatum is actually working against you. And every lane you look at, it is doomed.
Yeah, honestly, Tomasino had this counter pick, right? He had the choice of playing this Camille here, and it has just not gone his way at all. Doraemon has been cancelling almost every single hook shot that Tomasino has been able to use, and then suddenly, you just don't have a point to play to if you are Nox, right? You definitely can't go towards this bot lane. He's 2 levels down, 2 items down, and your top lane's getting solo killed 3 times as Nebula just hasn't taken his foot off the gas, flashing forward.
Flashing forward. Oh, no way! He's going to feel so hard done by that. Chirp survives on 40 HP. He put in all the hard work. He committed literally everything he had, but denied the prize.
Meanwhile, Hooper's dead. Again,
yep.
He really has not had a fun 2 games, has he?
He really has not. Look, this is not going to be one that Hooper's going to be too fond of looking back on, but look, we can put it down to first game jitters, first week back. We're going to try and find some kind of answer into this one, because right now, it is all things Iron, and the team with 3 new pro debuting players looking like they've been around forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a completely one-sided slaughter. They've got more kills than there are minutes in this game. And the question is, what can you do as Fury, right? There is very little at this stage when you lose every single lane, every single matchup. As we take a look at this solo kill again, I mean, there's not really that much to it. Hooper commits the flash as well, but he's already taken the shockwave in his full combo. Jovi, I mean, we question whether he would look as good on this Orianna as he did on his previous champions. And the answer so far is yes, Gimme.
What becomes an insanely scary prospect, right? If he can play all the melee aggressive champions, but then can bust out a control mage and make it look this clean as well, you're really having to scratch your head and say, okay, what lane, what player, and what style do we want to try and target when we take on Iron right now? Because they are having absolute pick of the litter. They can do nothing wrong. Everything belongs to them. I mean, it'd be interesting if we were to tab in with the vision again, because right now Fury have it all towards this bottom half of the map, trying to protect that dragon. That's not there for another 3 minutes, but the rest of the map is dark, and all these lanes are pushing against them.
And how do you engage, Skimmy? It's a very similar question, right? Xin Zhao, I mean, yes, he can E in, but that's very short range unless you're landing a wind becomes lightning, and Nebula is really not going to give you the chance if that's the case, so you're just forced to deal with the same situation where this Lucian's able to push down mid. You've got pushing solo lanes. They need to bring this Camille over, try to find a pick, or else they're just going to slowly lose the game. Very similar to how they did in game 1.
Well, pick feels like the key word, but it's obviously going to be very hard unless they have the ability to actually see where their opponents are going towards, right? Because I see 3 champions that want to flank, and the Azir, Xin, as well as Camille. Obviously, a front to back isn't going to be too ideal given the current massive deficit, but it's going to be so hard for them to find those angles because everything is warded like this.
Tomasino thinks he's being sneaky. I don't even think if they bring the Xin Zhao up that they kill him, to be honest. I think Doraemon's that tanky and has that much of a lead. And now the question is, what do you do if you're Ion here? You've got those 2 dragons. You can play for that, you know, slow stacking up, getting the 4 drakes, getting the Baron. Oh, there's a lucky recall coming out there from Chirp. But really, it's just vision denial at this stage. It's progressing those wards further and further into the enemy jungle, denying more CS. I mean, look at the 80 carry CS difference here, Skimmy. 119 to 161. 2 full items completed for this Lucian compared to the Kraken Slayer just coming online for Hooper.
It really is a fairly brutal affair. We saw very early on into the game that Hooper was just above the enemy support. There was that much of a difference even when it was 1.5 items, but now at this current point, you can understand why this Lucian is doing so much damage. As for Fury, they're going to try as they might to find a way back into this game, and that starts by looking at top lane. Maybe not the best target into a Cassante, but they have a fair bit of damage, mixed damage between them. So in goes the Emperor's Divide. That's a beautiful art there from Doraemon to try and dodge away. Flash forward, pounce on his head, and take him down. Drag back Chirp underneath the turret. Leech as much as you can, but realize that you're itemized to take on AD, and that Chirp will eventually take you down.
I just love the confidence there. It's a 2v1. He goes, you know, I'm probably going to die in a 1-for-1, but I'm going to do it anyway. I need to add to that solo kill stat. And Doraemon is looking like an absolute menace for his debut series in the LCO.
I'm really excited to see what else he has in his repertoire. I mean, if this is him on tanks, wait until we start to see him on carries, and then wait if, you know, it becomes himself up against Bliss and into Violet. That's when it gets really spicy. But let's look at top lane again. It all starts with the initial dash in.
Yeah, so he actually cancels the Xin Zhao E there with his third Q, which is really nice. Prevents a little bit of the damage coming onto him at the start, but then he just decides he could run here, right? He could absolutely get away. He has that flash, but he says, no, I want to trade the 1-for-1. The only thing I could critique is here, him not going back into his ultimate form, into his base form, rather, to get those tanky resistances back. But even still, trading a 1-for-1 there is just incredible and speaks to the aggression on every single member of this team.
Fury now routed in a position of the only way back in is through the spot lane, but a massive TP from the back line. Doraemon wanting to be a bit of a pest right now. They're going to try and lock up some key individual. They look at Hooper, they laugh, they say you're 0-5, we don't even need to care about you, but we'll take you down anyway. There's the two-man shockwave. It is a domain explosion as they look to find a third. Here we go into Tomasino. Doraemon gets rewarded for that beautiful deep flank in mid. On awards, Vision has been their best friend, and the score sheet is soon to look 2-0.
I mean, look at how many Void Mites they have, Skimmy. I wonder if they're going to take the inhibitor here or going to leave it. Looks like they are going to opt to let it go. It feels like it's already the end of the game, but it's only 20 minutes in, right? Baron hasn't even spawned right up until now, so Ion just stomping them. I mean, how many times did you see a top laner TPing in the middle of a wave on full vision and still getting 3 kills?
It's a rare sight to say the least. I mean, let's run it back again here, Max. What are you looking at in particular here?
It's Doraemon. He's absolutely unkillable on the backline here, right? Hooper is so far behind that Doraemon can just fully charge his W, get these Qs off, and look at the knockback plus the shockwave combo. It is just too much damage. Nebula cancels auto attack there, unfortunately, so he isn't able to get the kill onto Toppy. But I mean, Skimmy, this is 19 minutes. That's a tier 3 turret. Ion are just steamrolling through Fury.
To have this much control, pressure, and pedigree, really, to say that these are two, you would say, looking at this one in isolation, this should be a fairly even affair going into your very first game on the LCO stage, debuts for both sides, but to say that you're 10k up and both games have been complete stomps, feels criminal.
It does feel criminal. And I don't really know what you're going to do here as Fury. This is kind of what we talked about before, where you bring your Camille up in a Hail Mary, but there's so much vision, Skimmy. They're going to be spotted out on every single roam, so this Lucian feels very safe to continue pressuring like he is. And, you know, with Baron up, with Baron online, it's just one mistake, it's just one pick, and then suddenly the game's over.
Well, you hate to write a game off before it's already been done, but we said very early on that you're looking at these mid laners, both looking for that 3-item power spike, especially then for the Camille wanting to get 3 items online as well. Currently sitting on that Trinity Force and a Tiamat. Needs a fair bit more before they can truly ramp up, but just not given that time, not given that presence, not given really any of that space. It's a case of Ion have never really let their foot off the gas here. Baron has spawned because we're that far into this one. They've got a soul point to look forward to in 3.5 minutes, but they don't even need to go for these objectives, Max. They say, wherever we see you on the map, we'll go for you. We know that you can do absolutely nothing about it. That was a massive knockback from Hex Flash there. Well, I honestly think like Chirp might have been out.
Can we just credit that? That's going to be like the craziest Milio Q I think I've ever seen. He just kicked him right out of that shuffle. Chirp not committing the flash, and he's just going to go down. And I said there was one pick into a Baron and the game ends. This could be that one pick.
Let's see if they can find a Hooper going to face check here. I don't know if that's really where you want to be as an AD carry right now. The rest of his team are thinking, we're not sure if we really want to back you up. So Nox stuck running the wrong way. It is going to be Hooper falling down for his 7th of the game. And with 3 members dead for 30 seconds at least, now Baron looks a lot more attractive.
I mean, you just have to feel bad for Hooper, right? What can he do? He takes so much damage from an Orianna Q, has to flash away, and then he's playing against a Jarvan with ult. There's very little that he can actually achieve. And at this point, Ion is just going to have as much fun with this game as they like and close it out whenever they'd like. Doraemon might want to answer that solo queue tally.
He's looking to try and answer back and say, let's have another 1v1. It's not worked out well for you before, Tomasino. You want a split push? Not on my watch. So he goes in for him right now and forced up the hook shot, but he's going back in. In comes the teleport. They're looking to try and force this fight right now. They want to make it unfair. They want to get some shutdown goal. They want to try and get some way back in. But now it's a 2v2. Jovi's here. And if you know he's here, then you certainly got to fear because the damage comes out. They'll hunt for the second, and that they certainly will get.
Doraemon is just a pleasure to watch on this K'Sante. They're perfectly outplaying that 2v2. And it's just a pure solo lane gap, right? I mean, it has been this whole series. And for Fury, we thought the solo lanes were their strong point, right? We looked at Tomasino, we look at Chirp, and we think that those guys are the players who are going to be carrying this franchise on their backs. And plain and simple, they've just been outplayed 2 games in a row.
Well, where to from here really becomes the case of Ion, really. They've looked at this one and said we've got a clear read on how we want to try and play this game, but Fury aren't going to be up. We're at a fight. Just shout out goes the Culling, the campfire there for the extra range. The Topic goes in for the polymorph, but the cleanse straight out of that one. Nebula's not saying no today. He wants double digits, and that he will find, Max. 10, 1 and 5. What a standout debut.
It's just so sad to see that your only form of engage you can actually land is a Lulu flashing forwards the polymorph for carry that's instantly cleansed away. It's just so hard for them to do anything as a Jarvan Orianna combo comes through. That's going to be 1 kill. Tomasino just manages to walk away, but he won't be able to walk away from this 2-0 Skimmy. What a commanding entrance to the LCO.
What a beautiful
Ion.
performance. What an absolutely monumental one for the new boys and for those old alike as they come into